Mark, what do we know?
I think we know a lot. We know that Apple's working on 3 new phones once again for this year. The big story here is the bigger phone. It's a 6.5-inch phone. It's going to be the biggest smartphone Apple's done, and it's also going to be the largest mainstream smartphone on the market, even topping the Note 8 from Samsung that has a 6.3-inch screen. There's also going to be an update to the iPhone X design, the current screen size, plus a new cheaper model with many of the features that people like in the iPhone X.
So how will this compare to the 8 and 8 Plus? Are those?
Yeah, so if you look at Apple's strategy right now, they have this high-end phone, the iPhone X, right? And then they have the 2 low-end phones, the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 8 Plus. But the problem is the 8 and 8 Plus, while they're new and have some of the newer tech inside, outside, which is what many consumers care about, is extremely outdated. Those designs are the same ones pretty much that came out in 2014. So this will alleviate that. The cheaper price, but with Face ID, the edge-to-edge screen, a lot of the new outward-facing flashy features.
Why do they think we want a bigger phone?
You know, that's a good question. One, it really appeals to markets in Asia where there are a lot of consumers who are mostly single device users. And what that means are people who have only one piece of technology in their life. They watch TV from it, they do their email from it, they do their homework from it. People who do everything on one device versus some other people, they spread their workflow. Maybe me, I know you do the same across a laptop, a phone, a tablet,
Absolutely.
a TV. So this is really appealing to those people, especially business users as well.
So what will competition be like between the 2 phones?
Yeah, so let's move to the Samsung S9 now, because that really, intros that question. The S9, not a big update from the S8. It's sort of a, a mid-cycle, refresh to the phone. And why that is, I think, is because Samsung is holding its fire. They're holding its fire for this fall when they're going to come out with whatever they choose to call it, the Galaxy 10, the Galaxy X, basically the true successor to the Samsung Galaxy S line. And the big feature there is going to be this flexible, foldable, really high-tech digital screen, which is really going to be a new, unprecedented step for the industry. So Apple in the fall with this new big phone is going to be going toe-to-toe with that. And so I think seeing the Apple-Samsung war this fall is going to be a really significant moment to watch.
You'll often hear Tim Cook and Apple talk about getting new users from the Android platform. How many users do we know are actually switching platforms, whether it's from Android to iPhone or vice versa?
It was very interesting because Tim Cook actually dodged that question on the last earnings call. Typically, they like to tout those numbers. I don't know if we should read into it too much, but maybe it means that the switching wasn't as frequent as they would have expected, or maybe they just, like they said, didn't have the data in yet. So we don't actually have up-to-date data on that. But what we do know is that this bigger phone, the 6.5-inch phone, is going to appeal to Android users who are sort of on the Note 8 bandwagon. They want a screen at more than 6 inches of real estate. The lower cost model will also be bringing down the high tech to a lower price. So that also could be appealing to Android switchers.
Now, when it comes to the current iPhones, the 10, the 8, the 8 Plus, what do we know about the mix, and how do we expect that mix to evolve?
So we can glean a lot from their past earnings results from earlier in the month. The iPhone ASP is north now of $700, which is an all-time record because of the $1,000 starting price point of the iPhone X. But we also know that unit sales overall came in at around 77.3 million units, which was below analyst expectations of 80.2 million units. So that means even though the ASP was higher, the unit sales were lower than expected, actually 1% lower year over year than what Apple sold last year, which indicates to me that the people are really interested in the iPhone X's high-tech features, but some people can't afford it, and so they're left with the cheaper one, which they don't want. So coming out with a lower cost model around the same price, $700, $600, as the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 7 with the new technology, I think that's going to be a really big boon for Apple.